Well, today's recipe is straight from God's own country, Kerala. Well, the recipe for the day is an stew. And not just any stew, it is a red pumpkin stew. Let's begin. You get a variety of stew, of course, in Kolkata, you get it in Delhi, you get it in Lucknow, you also get it in Kerala. Well, Kerala is known for its stew and appams. The stew that I'm making today is deliberately pronounced stew. Reasons best known to us, but the whole point is I'm changing the core ingredient today and I'm making the same classic recipe using red pumpkins. Let's quickly cut and keep that aside. First things first, we take a red pumpkin, of course wash it nicely, clean it up and then cut it like so. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting it into wedges so that the plating also looks wonderful. So cut this into a half, then into a quarter, and then we cut this into 3 wedges like so. Let's scoop out the seeds like so. And of course you can keep all these aside, sun dry them, dry it in an oven, and use these as pumpkin seeds. For now, I'm just keeping it aside. In case you feel like removing the peel or the skin of the pumpkin, by all means you can do that as well. Let's keep this aside and move on to making the stew. Let's turn the flame on and begin with coconut oil. I'm going to keep a little aside for the second tempering as well. Let's begin the tempering with a stick of cinnamon, a couple of pieces of green cardamom, and a couple of cloves. Let's add in juliennes of ginger, juliennes of green chilies. Now really depends on the kind of spice that you wish to take. You can keep increasing or decreasing. Once the oil becomes well flavored, we'll be adding in the wedges of pumpkin. Let's saute this for a couple of minutes and add in the thin coconut milk. Couple of grains of salt, and along with this, a generous sprinkling of homemade garam masala. We stir this well and allow the stew to cook till of course the pumpkins are well done, or to the doneness of your choice. This will take not more than 8 to 10 minutes on medium flame. While the pumpkins are getting cooked, let's quickly move on to the second tempering, for which of course we need another pan, and we begin with the remainder of the coconut oil. Once that heats up, we're going to begin with mustard seeds. Let's move on to red onions or shallots and brown these lightly. Once the onions turn brown, I'm going to add in a sprig of curry leaves, a quick stir, and this now straight goes in the stew. Once the pumpkin is cooked and ready, let's finally add in thick coconut cream. We cook this on medium flame for precisely 30 seconds. A quick swirl, and with this, off goes the flame. With this, our red pumpkin stew is done and ready. What do you serve this with? Well, classically, appams. While no rice, no parothas, absolutely nothing. Just appams or just like this. No two ways about it. Bye for now. Well, this recipe for me, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely hitting home ground. I'm today making a Malvani curry and with mushrooms. Malvani mushroom curry, my father's all-time favorite. Let's begin. Like I said, it's an absolute home recipe. Button mushrooms absolutely easily available. What's important in this recipe is to make a wet spice mix and also have something called Malvani masala in your kitchen pantry. Now, in case you do not have that, do not worry. What's important is the wet spice. Malvani masala, there is of course a take to that, which I will tell you through the course of the recipe. But for now, let's concentrate on the wet spices. So let's begin. First things first, let's turn the flame on. Let's add in some regular vegetable oil. Let's begin with a sliced dry coconut. Well, I personally prefer this because of course it also has a lot of coconut oil still present in the coconut slices. Allow this to turn golden brown on medium flame. And once that's done, we're going to add in garlic and sliced onions. Allow the onions now to turn completely golden brown. The mixture is turned golden brown in color. With this, off goes the flame, and all of this gets transferred onto a plate. The whole idea and purpose is to ensure this cools down completely before we begin grinding. Once this cools down, let's transfer this into the blender, and along with this, a couple of more ingredients. Beginning with a couple of knobs of ginger, coriander stem, and along with this, fresh green chilies. Just snip the stalks off and break these roughly. Let's cover this and grind this into a smooth paste. Let's turn the flame on and begin with regular vegetable oil. Let's begin with red onions, finely chopped, and saute this till they just kind of begin to turn golden brown in color. Let's add in the ground spices. Stir this well and lower the flame and allow this to cook for the second time. This time to ensure the oil releases the sides of the pan. Now at this stage, we need to add in something called a Malvani masala. Now Malvani masala is something that of course is found in every Malvani home. Now every home makes it differently. The spices kind of differ, the chilies differ, the ratio and proportion differs. And it's different. It's unique to every home, to every kind of family. Now in case you do not have Malvani masala in the house, basically, like the framework says, it's a combination of chilies, whole spices, turmeric. Basic. So what you can do is make a combination of turmeric, red chili powder and home ground garam masala in a bowl, and that is your Malvani masala for this recipe. But if you can lay your hands on Malvani masala, then of course nothing like it. Let's begin with turmeric powder in a bowl. To this, let's add in red chili powder, a combination of course spice and color, and along with this home ground garam masala. Let's mix this all together, and here you have your literal Malvani masala done and ready. Well, if you see, the color is very similar. Let's add this into the cooking masala here. Along with this, some freshly cut coriander leaves, and we mix this well. At this point in time, let's whack the flame on a high and continue mixing. You'll see that the oil now starts releasing the sides of the pan. Let's add in mushrooms of choice, in this case, button mushrooms. Of course, you can keep changing this as per availability and season. Time to add in mushroom stock. Time to add in salt as required. Now, in case you're wondering what mushroom stock was, well, very simple. What I do is, or what rather I like doing is, no cooking, of course, no poaching, no boiling, absolutely nothing. Take shiitake mushrooms in their dehydrated form, steep a few, take 3-4 of them and steep them in hot water. The shiitake, of course, gets pulled out. You can use that for your wonderful Asian stir fries and things like that. What remains is that wonderful golden brown liquid. Remember to strain it and put that to use. Here you have mushroom stock in a jiffy. Don't tell people I told you this recipe. Let's stir this quickly. And allow this curry to cook till the mushrooms, of course, are done to the doneness of your choice. With this, a Malvani mushroom curry is done and ready. And with this, off goes the flame. Now you'd be wondering, what do you serve this with? Of course, bhakri is the most quintessential accompaniment to this. You can also make some vadas if you please. But if you want to keep things easy and light, just a bowl of steamed rice, some kachumbar, some sol kadhi, and that's your ticket to nirvana.
since I'm shifting to a new home, this is a temporary arrangement for me. And so I'm going to show you a very simple potato curry, which is one of my personal favorites. So let's cook and have some fun in my new kitchen. For that, I'm going to heat 1 tablespoon of ghee. And once the ghee melts, I'm going to add 2 bay leaves to this and 3 finely chopped onions. And I'm going to saute this till it's nice and translucent. I'm going to saute these onions till they are beautifully caramelized and golden. To brown the onions quickly, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. The onions have browned beautifully, so I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic paste, a teaspoon of ginger paste, and just let's saute this till the raw fragrance of these 2 ingredients are gone. It's time to add the coriander seed powder, which is about a tablespoon, a teaspoon of cumin seed powder. Just quickly stir this. I don't want the spices to burn, so I've reduced the flame to a medium. Let's quickly add potatoes. So here I have 5 potatoes which I have peeled and chopped into 1-inch cubes. I'm just going to add this. And quickly just saute this for a minute. Let's add some turmeric powder, about half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Add a tablespoon of red chili powder. If you want your curry a little more spicy, you can add chili powder according to your taste. Let's saute this for a few seconds. I have some water that I'm going to use here, which is basically the water that I had used to blanch tomatoes. So I'm going to add 2 cups of this water and very little salt to taste. Remember, we've already added salt when we were browning the onions. Just gently stir this curry. And let's cover this and cook for 10 minutes till the potatoes are almost done. The potatoes have been cooking for the last 10 minutes and they will be almost done, not completely done. Let's sprinkle some garam masala powder, about a teaspoon of it, and add the tomato puree. So I have blanched and pureed 4 tomatoes. Let's quickly add this. Gently stir the curry. The curry is already smelling awesome. Let's cover this and cook for another 5 to 6 minutes till the potatoes are almost done. Let's check if the potatoes are cooked. Yes, they're done. And now to give that little extra creamy texture to this curry, we're going to add the gram flour paste. And just stir this gently. If you feel that the gravy has got too thick, you can add a cup of water to this. And now let's cover this and simmer the curry for another 2 to 3 minutes. Now while the curry is simmering, let's prepare for the tadka. For that, let's heat a tablespoon of ghee. The ghee is hot. Let's add 8 to 10 fenugreek seeds, methi seeds, a teaspoon of fennel seeds, saunf. Let's splutter a teaspoon of mustard seeds, a pinch of asafoetida and a sprig of curry leaf. And let's lace this curry with this tadka. Switch off the flame and our simple potato curry is ready to be served. Let's remove it in a serving bowl. You can serve this potato curry with some crisp puris or some garma garam parathas. I also love it with rice, so do try this simple recipe. A few days back I had some boiled potatoes in the refrigerator and I didn't want to cook my regular aloo ka sabzi. Let's see how to make a delicious creamy aloo kofta curry. For the gravy, I'm going to heat 2 tablespoons of oil. The oil is hot. I'm going to throw in some almonds and cashew nuts, about 10 almonds and 10 cashew nuts, and quickly just fry them. Here I'm adding 3 cloves of garlic that I've finely chopped, 1 inch of ginger, and I'm going to add 2 sliced onions, and I'm going to saute these onions till they're soft and pink. The onions have turned soft and translucent. Let's add 2 tomatoes roughly chopped. I'm going to add a cup of water to this. Mix this well, and I'm going to cover and cook this till the tomatoes are nice and soft. The tomatoes are cooked, they are nice, soft and mushy. I'm just going to add half a cup of beaten yogurt to this. And on a low flame, let's saute this mixture. As you can see, the oil has slowly started to separate. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of garam masala powder. Mix it well. Shut the flame. And now let's cool this and grind this mixture into a fine paste. Now in the same kadhai, I'm going to heat 2 tablespoons of ghee. Once the ghee melts, I'm going to throw in some whole spices like the cinnamon, 1 inch of cinnamon, 1 star anise and 2 green cardamoms. Once they leave their aroma, I'm going to add the ground paste. Mix this well. Since the masala is already cooked, I'm going to add half a liter of water to this. Let's add some salt to taste. And bring the gravy to a boil. You can add water to this gravy as per the consistency that you need. The curry is boiling. I'm going to simply finish this off with some cream. So here I'm adding 2 heaped teaspoons of fresh cream, giving it a final stir, and I'm going to shut the flame and keep the gravy aside. Now to make the aloo koftas, here I have 3 medium-sized potatoes that I've boiled and peeled. To that, I'm going to add some salt, 2 green chilies finely chopped, 10 to 15 raisins, and a tablespoon of chopped cashew nuts, some finely chopped coriander leaves, half a teaspoon of amchur powder and half a teaspoon of fennel seed powder. I'm going to mash this and mix this well. Our mixture for the aloo kofta is ready. You can also stuff these koftas with paneer and make a paneer kofta curry. Now let's make small tikkis with this mixture. Our tikkis are ready. I'll quickly wash my hands and then we'll pan fry these nice and crisp. I'm going to heat some oil in a pan. And once the oil is nice and hot, let's quickly fry these tikkis. After a minute, I'm just going to flip these tikkis and cook it on the other side as well. Look at the beautiful golden color. These tikkis are ready. Let's remove them. Let's fry the remaining tikkis. To serve this dish, I'm going to place the koftas in a serving bowl. And I'm going to simply pour this piping hot gravy onto these aloo koftas. Now to finish this gravy off, I'm going to drizzle in some fresh cream and just sprinkle some finely chopped coriander leaves. And our aloo kofta curry is ready to be served. You can serve this at a party to your vegetarian friends along with some paratha or steamed rice. So do try this recipe.
Well, today's recipe is a very simple, basic tomato curry. It's called the Sindhi tomato curry. Well, just a little bit of trivia there, actually 2 trivias. This is a recipe that I've picked up from 2 of my Sindhi friends, Kanak and Vinita. So if you're watching, please vet this if this is correct. Actually, it's a hash from both your homes. Well, there is one thing that I've picked up from Vinita here, and that is addition of boiled chickpeas, which I've generally not seen in other homes. So yeah, this is from their homes. Well, another note of trivia here is, many years back, I had a friend visiting us from the US and he loved tomato-based curries. Well, I used to make this Sindhi curry for him with lots of vegetables, and trust me, over the years this became his favorite. Well, today, the secret gets revealed that is not any other tomato curry, but a classic tomato Sindhi curry. First things first, let's heat a pan. It could be a cauldron, it could be a stock pot, anything that you wish. Let's begin this recipe with heating oil. Once the oil heats up, we begin with mustard seeds, followed by cumin seeds, let's add in some hing or asafoetida. Along with this, chopped ginger, slit green chilies, and fenugreek seeds or methi seeds. Let's give this a stir. And to this, let's add in gram flour or besan.
Stir this well and allow this to cook on literally low flame for 2 to 3 minutes till it's wonderfully nutty and good to go. You will realize and notice that once the gram flour hits the pan, it kind of clumps together, and when it starts heating up, it starts releasing the oil from within, and then you get this kind of a consistency and texture. It'll take somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes for it to become nice and nutty. Just before it hits that stage, let's add in some spices, beginning with turmeric, followed by red chili powder. Well, remember the fact that the recipe already has green chilies, so it's kind of going to be a little spiked, but again, that could be adjusted as a personal taste and choice. Mix all of this together, and once the spices kind of get cooked, let's add in tomato puree. Now this is fresh tomatoes which are run into a mixer. Stir this up well and allow this to cook on medium flame for 2 to 3 minutes. Stir this well and add in some water. Now this is as much as curry as you prefer and like. Well, also remember the fact that this is going to reduce further down, and also the vegetables are going to get cooked in the same. Stir this well, and at this stage let's add in some salt. Time to stir in some vegetables. Well, I'm using cluster beans which are snipped at the ends. I'm using drumsticks which are nicely peeled. I'm using chickpeas which are boiled and ready. I'm using okra or bhindi or ladyfinger which is snipped at the ends. It's also been given a cut so that you can check for the worms and things like that. And it's lightly fried in just a little bit of oil. And here are some potato wedges which are of course peeled, and that's again personal. Any Sindhi curry, remember a fact, potatoes are a must. Also, I'm using some curry leaves, which ideally you could have added in the beginning as well in the tempering, but nevertheless we can add it at this stage as well. Time to add in the vegetables, but before that let's begin with adding the entire sprig of curry leaves. Let's add in drumsticks, potato wedges, boiled chickpeas, cluster beans or gawar phali, and finally to this, bhindi or okra which is fried and ready. Allow this to simmer on low flame for at least 15 to 20 minutes or till the vegetables are perfectly cooked. Time to also add in the tamarind which has been soaking in water. A quick stir and continue cooking. It's been 20 minutes and our tomato Sindhi curry is done and ready. A quick check here. Well, the potato is absolutely nice and soft. With this, our tomato Sindhi curry is done and ready. A Sindhi curry is classically and traditionally served, of course, with steamed rice, and with that is aloo tuk and meathi bundi. Well, I personally will reserve that idea post-lockdown, but for now I'm going to enjoy that with a bowl of steamed rice.
Today's curry is a Malai curry. Well, Malai means cream. Let's make a creamy curry from the heart of India. Let's begin. First things first is to make a paste of red onions and keep that aside, and then immediately move on to making another paste, which is going to be the herb and spice paste. Beginning with coriander leaves, let's add in some chilies, green of course. I'm going to add in cumin seeds, black peppercorn, garam masala, of course in its powdered form, cashew nuts to bring in that creaminess and richness in the curry, and almonds of course to add to it. Let's cover this and grind this into a fine paste. Our paste is done and ready. Let's move on to the curry. Let's begin with oil in a wok and fry a couple of ingredients, beginning with cashew nuts. Let's fry this till the cashews turn golden brown in color. Let's collect all of this in a deep bowl. Time to add in cottage cheese. Let's move on to some vegetables, beginning with beans, moving on to red carrots, and finally some fresh garden peas. Move this around for a couple of seconds here and there. At this stage, to bring out the taste and flavor of each vegetable and its individuality, I'm going to add in salt and toss this quickly. Let's transfer these vegetables in the bowl again. In the same oil, let's begin with bay leaves and along with this, paste of red onions. Let's fry this till the raw flavor of onion goes away. And then we'll add in the paste that we just made a couple of minutes back. Let's cook this paste till the oil starts releasing the side of the pan. Let's add in the vegetables, cottage cheese and cashew nuts, of course, to this curry mix. A touch of salt, remembering the fact that salt was already added in the vegetables. The water from the blender, of course. And finally, some more water. Stir this well and ensure the vegetables are cooked to the doneness of your choice. Finally, let's also stir in some cream and allow this to cook. One quick stir, and with this, your veg malai curry is done and ready.
Paneer Makhani is one dish which is generally loved by everyone and is also popular on the menu in most Indian restaurants. So today let's see how to make a quick and easy Paneer Makhani. For that, I'm going to heat a tablespoon of oil along with 1 tablespoon of butter. And once the butter melts, I'm going to add a teaspoon of ginger paste, a teaspoon of garlic paste, and now I'm going to add tomato puree. So basically I have boiled 4 tomatoes here, medium-sized tomatoes, which I have peeled and then ground to a nice fine puree. So let's add this to the ginger garlic. Just let's cook this for 2 to 3 minutes. I've kept the flame on a high. Now I'm going to add half a cup of cashew nut paste. So basically I soaked 12 cashew nuts for about half an hour to 45 minutes and simply ground it to a fine paste. I'm going to add this to the tomatoes. Let's mix this well and let's fry this masala really well till the oil starts separating. As you can see, the oil has already started separating. Let's add our spices. I'm going to add a tablespoon of red chili powder. I'm using the Kashmiri chili powder. Mix this well. Usually the makhani gravy is slightly sweet, so you can add sugar or you can add ketchup, whatever you like. So here I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup. You know, if your tomatoes are not really too sour, then you can skip adding the tomato ketchup. Let's add some salt as well to this. Just let's cook this gravy for a minute or two. Now what we're going to do is heat another tablespoon of oil and add a tablespoon of butter to this as well. You know, the makhani gravy usually has a lot of butter and it gets an amazing taste because of the butter. I have about 350 grams of paneer, which I'm just going to fry in this butter gently and slightly. So we generally fry the paneer so that it remains nice and firm and doesn't crumble into the gravy. So in here, I'm just going to add a tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder and just fry it for a few seconds. We don't want to burn it. Going to sprinkle some salt. We've already added salt to the gravy. And now what I'm going to do is simply pour this gravy on the paneer. And now to this we are going to add water. So the water I'm going to use here is the water that I had used to boil the tomatoes. Just going to add this to make a lovely consistency for the gravy. Just going to gently mix this. A teaspoon of garam masala. I'm just going to sprinkle this on top. Stir this gently. And now I'm going to cover this and cook it for 5 minutes on a medium to low flame. We kept the paneer makhani to cook for about 4 to 5 minutes and it's ready to be served. I'm just going to garnish this with some kasuri methi powder and a nice heaped teaspoon of fresh cream on this. And our paneer makhani is ready to be served.